Hey, what's going on, everybody? This week we are going to be looking at epic films and how epic films shape the movie-going industry. Now, an epic film is a style of filmmaking that is grand in scale and of spectacle. They sweep us off of our feet and transport us to a specific period of time within a certain genre. In other words, epic films are just big-budget filmmaking. Epic films usually focus on archetypal characters that the audience can relate to. Epic films are a lot of times historical adventures with lavish costumes, giant ensemble casts, and sweeping musical scores. So let's talk a little bit about where the epic actually came from. So the term epic originally came from the poetic genre of works stemming from Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. They followed the heroic fates of men, who typically are described as mythical figures. Now, in the case of film, epic films date back to the creation of film. In 1914, Italian director Giovanni Pastrone made an epic silent film on the Punic Wars called Cabiria. And then in 1914, American film director D.W. Griffith made the controversial Ku Klux Klan epic The Birth of a Nation. Now, over the years, there has been some disparity on what classifies an epic film. The American Film Institute only recognizes an epic film as being a historical period piece, like the film Ben-Hur, or the life of T.E. Lawrence in Lawrence of Arabia. But genre has really opened up the possibilities of how directors can make epics without having to be based purely on historical figures. Roger Ebert said this about Lawrence of Arabia after the film was released, and what defines it as an epic film. He said the word epic in recent years has become synonymous with big-budget B pictures. What you realize while watching Lawrence of Arabia is that the word epic refers not to the cost or the elaborate production, but to the size of the ideas and the vision that the director has for that particular story. Now, over the course of the last 100 years, we have had a plethora of genre epics. We have our traditional historical epics, we have our war epics, religious epics, romantic epics, western epics, and science fiction epics. But each subgenre provides a starting point for a director in the direction and scope that he wishes to tell his story. Something to keep in mind is that epics traditionally are over 3 hours in length. In the 1950s, the television had just been created, and major Hollywood studios were paranoid that films would go out in style because people would watch programs from their living rooms. So movie studios essentially started making more expensive, bigger budget productions that would help provide audiences with an immersive experience that they could only get while going to the cinema. Typically, old epics contained an overture and an intermission, like a traditional musical or stage play. The studios wanted to keep people in the theaters for as long as possible and wanted audiences to keep coming back because of the experience that they would have at the movies. Now, over the last 60 years, we have received some amazing epics like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Dr. Zhivago.
We may go mad if we think about all that.
I shall always think about it.
Braveheart.
To trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
The Lord of the Rings.
King stands alone. Not alone. Go hit him!
Avatar. and more recently, Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight.
Got room for one more?
Who the hell are you? And what happened to them?
Name's Major Marcus Warren, former U.S. Cavalry, currently a servant of the court, trying to bring a couple no-goods into market.
You taking them into Red Rock?
Figure that's where you headed, right?
Epics are grand in scale and provide audiences with a completely sweeping cinematic experience that can only be experienced in a movie theater. There is no substitute for this, while you can be in a dark theater watching this on the biggest screen possible. Epics may be a thing of the past, but they still captivate audiences and remind us why we like visual stories and why we enjoy going to the movies in general. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, click the like button. Also, make sure to check out our website, filmschoolhooligans.com. We'll see you next week.